Hello and welcome to the Open SAP course, SAP Intelligent Robotic Process Automation in a nutshell. In these 8 units, we will introduce you to this new concept of process automation from its definition to its various implementation cases. You will learn how we apply this technology by combining it with SAP's intelligent services, such as machine learning or artificial intelligence. We will of course show you a demonstration of the solution, which will allow you to see the simplicity and power of our intelligent RPA. My name is Laurent Hurtebise, and I will guide you through the first unit, which is simply called What is Robotic Process Automation? Remember, at the beginning of the last century, during the Industrial Revolution, such as in textile or automotive areas, there were large warehouses with many employees performing countless manual tasks. They did the same things over and over again, from several hundred to thousands of times per day. Then the automation chains gradually appeared. Let me present you to robots. Robots helped humans to free them from painful tasks, to allow them to master processes and to produce even more. In the tertiary sector, with the arrival of information technology, we did not think about this question of automation. The applications were especially created for this very purpose by IT departments. Okay, but what nobody sees is this. A workstation is a collection of windows and applications. Oh, the applications usually work fine. But what about the links between these applications? Because yes, nowadays most of the processes needs to switch from one application to another. Okay, you can have APIs or web services that are specifically developed between some applications. Do you think every application has all the right APIs to call up? No. Believe me, users spend a lot of time clicking, navigating, copying, pasting, bored by repetitive tasks, having low added value. They all dream of being able to spend more time on customer care rather than tedious tasks. There is where RPA can help. Here's the definition. Robotic process automation accelerates digital transformation of business processes by automatically replicating tedious actions that have no added value. Correct. And now there are 2 ways to consider this assistance, depending on what needs to be automated and how it should be automated. Does the user really need to validate or input a bit of information that can be found using a rule? On one hand, the process is composed of tasks that are partially automated, and the robot interacts with the user on this workstation. Imagine, the user navigates through different screens, fills in different forms, selects data from combo boxes, and finally, it must validate the input. This is the process. In this case, there's at least one interaction with the user. This takes place on the user's desktop. This is called Attended RPA, or RDA, Robotic Desktop Automation. On the other hand, when a large set of tasks doesn't need any human interaction, then we talk about unattended mode. Remember the case, same input, same selections, but now the process shows that the validation step is not mandatory. The bot is autonomous, unattended. Another idea, retrieving data from Excel file. One line corresponds to one form to fill in. No validation step. In that case, the bot is autonomous again to read each line and enter it into the form, even if it has to navigate through different screens. For example, there is no human to launch the bot every morning. It's scheduled, triggered by the factory, which is the masterpiece of the game. My colleague Thierry will explain this in one of the next units. You just need one human to supervise the execution processes of all the bots, just in case. Okay, you have the big picture about RPA. Now let's talk about some myths. Yes, there are myths about RPA. It is quite normal to meet people who ask questions about a given subject, and it is classic example too to find other people who answer these questions incorrectly. That is the challenge. These people feed constructive and negative criticism, often easy in a labor market that can get stressed out for obvious reasons, like the need to lower production costs and aim for better quality. At the same time, it's not a question of fighting against these easy opposing forces, but rather of listening to these sensitive yet important issues. We must provide the simplest and most effective answers. This technology has been slow to emerge. With arguments coming from more than 15 years of daily practice with this technology, we have been able to make them more mature based on the feedback of the early adopters who entered this journey with us and who quickly found the benefits. This has helped us to improve a lot. And now we are ready to answer questions. Let's have a visit of some of the key myths. Myth number one, is RPA really about process? Well, good question. It's all about semantics. Of course, the term process is included in the acronym, but when we focus on what is really done in RPA, we notice that tasks are automated, but not necessarily all processes. The robots handle tedious tasks and often just tasks. And possibly, the user is able to make more smart decisions, controlling and validating the process as it moves along. Now, if we step back and adopt a global approach, we can consider that all these examples of automation will take place in different lines of business. And because they are traditionally organized in silos, they aren't really allowed to face higher global processes. It is less customer-centric, managing upward, and you've got higher costs, less visibility, duplicate work, increasing customer issues. Within the intelligent enterprise, we of course consider processes that may last more than a few seconds or a few minutes. We just saw that a simple onboarding step can be quick, but an end-to-end process, including those different businesses, may last several days or even weeks. Thanks to this second kind of RPA consideration, we know much more about all the process involving customers across silos in a real constant governance. Number two, RPA and AI really replace humans. Wow, this is a real understandable fear that we can hear all the time, coming from movies, from books, and many stories told for years. You hear everything and the opposite examples. When you are not directly concerned by these changes, you see only the exceptional ones, the opportunities. But if you are truly concerned, this is another story. The fear is coming. The belief that working with a robot is something too difficult. We are here to reassure, to convince, to help customers understand that there are many more benefits to working with a software robot. The truth is that RPA is here to relieve humans from silly tasks so they can focus on core business and be more efficient in making decisions on more complex cases. In fact, RPA takes the robot out of humans. Number 3, RPA is only about cost reduction. Okay, that's right. Companies might jump into RPA to reduce costs. Cost of low-value tasks. Because of legal constraints such as compliance, users spend more time in administrative tasks than real productive ones. In that way, RPA kills administrative costs. And again, let's say that RPA allows customers to perform high-value tasks. And of course, we notice that an increase in motivation, in productivity, and the greatest of all, quality. RPA can also provide complete and well-structured analysis for periodic reporting. Who still uses pencil to count an operation once it's done, to perform the reporting at the end of the day? RPA frees the user and is now available for other high-value actions. We can say RPA reduces costs, and more importantly, it brings value. Number 4, RPA is a hype and won't last. RPA has existed for many years. It was simply highlighted 3 years ago, but we've implemented many automation projects with customers for more than 15 years. So we are not rookies on the subject. The second point is that little by little, RPA has become a good asset for IT, enabling a lot of projects to be quickly released. And here is the cherry on the top of the cake. We found great users that told us that automation was part of their daily work, and they couldn't do without it. And we understand why. The third point is that thanks to new types of functionality, customer experience is being disrupted in positive ways. RPA is growing fast, getting more agile. We are perfectly trained to quickly answer that market and the customer's expectations. All of this thanks to artificial intelligence, machine learning, chatbots, and other great technologies. For all of these reasons, we can easily imagine that it will last for years to come. Number 5, RPA can be implemented without involving IT. Ouch. IT appears to be essential to use all the applications, but at the same time, the business often say that there is a waste of time involving IT. In addition, some vendors highlight recording and script generation functions that are very easy to understand and used to perform all the automation tasks. Right. Just beware that it's mandatory to install software or even a server. Plus, beyond the standard cases, there are always exceptions to be taken into account. At the beginning or after a first example of use as part of the maintenance of the automation cycle. So, okay, RPA allows one to reduce the cost of integration. And it's very tempting to produce a script all alone. But remember, without IT, it's shadow IT. Involving IT, the answer is yes. Business and IT need to work together. Number 6, RPA is just a super macro, as it already exists. Okay, similarities exist. Even if in VBA language, for example, seems tricky, it helps automation in Excel. And what about batch program, like the old ones built by our parents and my dad? Yes. At the same time, there are differences. The key point is that a RPA tool automates multiple applications, even old legacy and COBOL stuff, such as web, Windows, Java, HLL API, and so on, in the same way. A macro is not able to handle a user interface. it's the only solution when APIs don't exist. Performing several tasks in parallel is also possible by a real RPA tool. All those automation types could be orchestrated, distributed, and controlled. So believe me, RPA is much more than a macro. It's beyond that. Number 7, and the last myth, is about skills. RPA doesn't require any programming skills. Well, interesting subject. Of course, in the very beginning of an automation project, you've got Studio helping you build your first automation. By recording the task, moving boxes, selecting activities, you often manage to generate the code. And that's it. You don't really need to have heavy programming skills, right? Anyway, the point is that beyond the nominal case, the story is a bit more complex. The process may have dependencies with other systems and also exceptions to handle. And a full generated code for a task is self-structured and doesn't easily accept evolving changes, unless if you have really got good skills. Believe me, building sustainable automation requires skills, and almost from the very beginning. Okay, well, this is the end for the first unit. Thanks for watching it. I hope you enjoyed it, and I propose now to jump into the second unit. We are going to talk about use cases. Bye.